Hello, my sewing friends. This, of course, is Friday Sews. I'm Jen, and this is my sewing room. My incredibly messy, disastrous, I don't even know what to call it, of a sewing room. Over there, let me just turn you and show you. See all this mess over here? It's worse on the floor than it is actually on the wall. Ugh. I'm coming up with some solutions though for that. And I started out by thinking that I wanted to place my thread in some kind of rack situation kind of thing in the cube storage that the pressing stuff is going to go on top of. And then I changed my mind because I started thinking about it and I thought, what about those clear acrylic shelves that are almost like picture ledges? Well, if you go into a nail salon, they have those, and all the polishes, the nail polishes are all lined up on those. And I thought, oh my gosh, how wide are they? And so ended up that I figured out that I could actually put the thread on my pegboard. And so I'm going to do that. That was not my first choice, but the priority for the thread is that I can see it. And all my serger thread was still going to be over there because that's the best way to store it, is just to put it on a peg. It's easy. So that whole pegboard is being rearranged and there are solutions. I'm so excited about the solution because I have been racking my brain and Pinterest and Instagram, any other way that I can figure out ideas for how to store things. So I was out yesterday working on my pressing station, which again looks like this. And I've got the primer coat on. I've got one coat of white and I just need to put another coat of the white paint on. And I went to do the top of it, which is essentially just any board, any kind of wood board. And you take natural fiber padding, like batting, and I'm just using the insides of 2 of my ironing board covers, which work great. And then I've got a piece of just cotton calico to put on top of those. So I had all that cut now, all laid out, and it's all ready to go, and I can't find my staple gun. It never fails, does it? Just about the time you think you got it all ready to go. And see, I know I have at least 2 staple guns. I know I do. And I know now that I think about it, where those staple guns are. I just couldn't find that little container. And I think I do know where it is. So this morning I went over to Home Depot and I got, I don't know, a whole slew of things, staple gun included. So it was funny. I was standing there squeezing them thinking, which one is going to work? I know I look like a total idiot snapping those staple guns. In fact, there was a guy that walked over and he goes, "What are you doing?" Oh, of course, that started a conversation about home, DIY, all these things. So it was kind of fun. So anyway, that is in the works. I'm hoping to have it done later today because today it's probably going to rain this afternoon for just a little while. This is starting into that time of year when it does that here in Florida. So anyway, okay, so yeah, that's underway. Moving on, I finished that little jumpsuit for Michaela. It looks like this. It's McCall's 4824. This little jumpsuit, I've been working on it for 2 or 3 weeks now. And so it just needed the button front, and then I needed to finish the cuffs on the bottoms of the legs. You can see right here. See how that has cuffs? Yeah, I had already cut the cuffs. And I went to put them on and I could only find one. Only one. Okay, here's the thing. I have told the Hunk O Man before that I would prefer that he not empty the trash in my sewing room. Now, this is a man who takes care of me. It's almost like he follows me around and double checks that I've done everything, which tends to drive me a little crazy, but honestly, in the end, I'm more thankful for it than I am not, because he makes sure that everything is done. And so I don't walk out of the house not having locked a door or turned off a light or something like that. So anyway, he's helpful in that he empties all the trash everywhere in the house and often will come in here and do it. And I've said before, please don't do that because inevitably I need a scrap. or something that I've thrown in the trash and, now I can't find. I have a feeling that that cuff got thrown in the trash. I don't know if I thought it was a scrap. Who knows? It was on the table. I don't know. That table's had so many things on and off of it lately. But I only could find one. So he's gone this week. So I texted him and I said, did you happen to empty the trash in there? He said, yes, but the bag of trash is on the top of all the bags in the dumpster. And I thought, all right, I've looked everywhere. I've even gone through the kitchen trash, put on my little plastic gloves, and I did weed through it. No, he didn't empty that trash into the kitchen trash. So I thought, all right, I draw the line at going out to a dumpster and opening a trash bag. No. So I, of course, texted my sewing sisters and I said, can you believe this happened? And they said, why don't you use elastic on the bottoms of the legs? That'll work. And I thought, that is brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? It was because I was too busy being irritated that the trash got emptied. Oh my gosh. So I did that. I put elastic on the bottom hems of these legs and it worked like a dream. And it's loose enough that the kid doesn't care and she looks adorable in it. That is made from a microfiber sheet with piping that I made with cording that I had and also bias tape that I had also. So that turned out fabulous. And then on a whim, because I was thinking about her wardrobe and I'm always trying to improve her wardrobe because she likes things that are comfortable and comfort wins over fashion every time. So I'm trying to kind of go with that young vibe of let's make it comfortable, but let's make it work appropriate too. And I know that she doesn't like things that are straight. She likes flared skirts, like big swirly circle skirts. So I had some denim and I thought, well, maybe I can do something with that. It's darker and she could wear like a white top with it. She needs more tops and less t-shirts, to be honest. But I went into my stash and I found McCall's 8046. This is from 1996. And it's just a simple skirt, you can tell. There are some options. You can do trim, you can do a border with piping, you can do pleats, a lot of various things. It has 2 darts in the front, 2 darts in the back, and a zip up the back. So I had this denim, which is stretchier than I thought it was. I got this a couple of years ago at the Scrap Exchange in Durham, North Carolina, and I thought at the time that it was kind of stretchy, and then I thought, no, that's just bull denim. No, it's not. It's a lighter weight, and that makes me happy because I'm thinking now all the things I can do with it. So I made this little skirt for her. I really did just whip it up. It did not take any time to do at all. I did some top stitching with gold thread that I had, the heavier stuff that you really need a needle that will accommodate that, because if you don't, then as it goes through your machine, that needle eye will tend to want to shred the thread. So you have to be careful with that. So I got it all done except for the hem. And I had her try it on, and I thought she was smaller than she is. And waistbands are tough for me because honestly, you need some negative ease compared to your waist measurement, or at least I like some, because if you make it right at your waist measurement, it usually feels too big. Go figure. So I got it all done, got it top stitched, got the zip in, got even the little hook and eye on the back, and it's too small, so that's okay. I can let out the darts in the front, even just the front will be fine, and then I can cut a new waistband because I still have I think I have 12 yards of that. It's a lot. So yeah, I'll finish that up and it won't take much time at all because all I have to do is do a new waistband and that's easy. And I didn't even stitch in the ditch to hold it down. I don't think I did, but really I just serge the edge and then top stitch on the outside, and that catches that inside of the waistband, and then it's done. It's done. So I will tell you that because she likes a wider kind of flippier skirt, she's all into the circle skirt thing, and this is not really that. This is more of an A-line skirt. So I tried a new method. I decided I would do a slash and spread. So I did. I always trace off my patterns, but this was cut to a 12. So when I did it, I just traced it and then slashed it. and then put about 1.5 inches between each of the slashes, and that spread it out as it went down. It was so cool. And I thought, I've never done this and it works. So this really is much more flared than it otherwise would have been. Now, I am not sure that I did that slash and spread thing right, because I think you have to pay a lot more attention to the grain line than I actually did. I mean, I kind of made a half of an effort to do that, but you know. So anyway, like I said, that's going to be done. That's really all of the sewing that I got done this week. I had a big fabric haul, which I will direct you to up here if you'd like to watch that. Went over to Goodwill, and man, did I make out like a bandit. So let me also throw in here the question from last week, which was something I forgot to do. I'll tell you what, most of us Friday sewers will often forget to do the question. It's just a talking point. It's like a topic. If you want to, you know, it's like stuff I can talk to you about. And that kind of gets you talking to me, and I love that. Well, I forgot last week. And the ironic thing is that my friend Michelle, she usually forgets. And she remembered last week. And I forgot. And I came up with these questions. So, bad form. Well, anyway, I thought I would cover both of them this week. So last week's question was, does your serger thread have to match? Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it? If what I'm sewing has a lot of white in it, or if it's a print that was done on a white base, you know, like a white piece of fabric, and then they printed the color onto it, then I will always use white. Case in point, this dress that I'm wearing, this is Simplicity 8640, by the way. I did a sew along for this specific dress, actually. But this, you can tell, the serger thread is all white. And that was because, well, once again, this has been printed on a white base. You can kind of see how it's like, this is white, and then the blue has been printed on top of it. So, white. If I'm working with something like this, I'll either do navy blue or black, whichever I've got more of. This one, I'm pretty sure I did navy blue, because, yeah, I did. If I'm working with something that isn't one of those colors, then I will get the color closest to it. And I didn't used to do that. I used to just kind of work with white and black, whatever I had in the serger at the time. But I've gotten more picky about that since I got a serger that's easy to thread. If I'm doing something like a fuchsia t-shirt or a fuchsia dress or something, then I will probably go to red, because I have a fair amount of colors over there. I have green, I have a teal blue, a red, light blue, pink, brown, and an off-white, and white and black. Well, even a couple of yellow. Sometimes I'll mix it up and I'll leave the white needle thread in, or both white needle threads in, and I'll do the loopers in a different color. But sometimes I do switch it out to the exact thread, because, for example, my Easter dress is kind of one of those heirloom kind of, I really wanted it perfect. So I did take the time to put my light blue thread in and used that. So it depends. It depends. The second question for this week is, how do you surround yourself with beauty in your sewing room? Do you have artwork? Do you have plants? Do you have memorabilia? Do you have things that just, I mean, have you done it in such a way that it's a beautiful place that you want to be? Well, for me, it's that. I love that stained glass window. I just love it. And this faces east, and so when I come in here in the morning and the sun is coming through, it just lights me up. I love it. I love being in here with that. So I would love to have some plants in here, but with an east facing window, and that being the only window, then that kind of limits the amount of plants that I can have in here, because they would get shade for most of the day. So I don't know, maybe I'll get a fern or something. I don't know. Let's make sure I can keep a plant alive, which actually brings me to this weekend. I'm solo this weekend because the Hunk O Man is gone for the week. He'll be back Tuesday, and then the kid is leaving to go visit her cat. So she'll be gone all weekend. And so you know what that means. That means I can be in here all day long with nobody bugging me or anything like that. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. And so one of the things I've done lately is redo my lanai, which I will probably work on that this weekend to some degree. Here's the situation with that. I've got plants out there and they're doing okay. I don't know. I'm fussing and fretting over them because they don't look fantastic. You know, they don't look fabulous. And I just, I'm such a perfectionist. I talk to them and I say, do you need watering? It's a little ridiculous, but I'm kind of obsessed with having them do well because I'm such a plant killer. I'm terrible. I either water them too much or not enough. Well, I decided that I was going to do some things with that area because I love being out there. And so I wanted curtains and I needed to find ones that were long enough, especially because the walls out there are the same walls that are in most Florida homes. We build our homes with cinder blocks and not framing, not like wood framing, because hurricanes come through here a lot. And so we need really homes that won't blow away. Even though sometimes, you know, with the tornado or something, they might. But it's kind of like the Three Little Pigs, the one that built theirs out of bricks. Same idea. Well, it is a pain in the neck to try and drill holes into cement. So I try and avoid that. And one way I've been able to do that is put hooks in the ceiling. So I need to install the hooks in the ceiling, put the curtain rods through, and then put the curtains on. And it took a little work to kind of figure out how I was going to do that. So anyway, so I found some really long curtains that will do well with indoor outdoor at IKEA. A surprise, my house is being overrun by IKEA, but you know what? I really like what I've got. So there you go. So anyway, I'm going to work on that this weekend. Got a bird feeder, got a hummingbird feeder. My husband is such a hummingbird fanatic. He loves hummingbirds. And I just saw one the other day and I thought, okay, it's time to get the feeder out. We used to have a feeder in Indiana. And in fact, we had a neighbor who had several and he had hummingbird envy. He was like, why are they all going to her house and not ours? It was hilarious. He would go out there and fill it, and then he'd go to the kitchen window and look. And so I thought, we need a hummingbird feeder. So just got some of that stuff today at Home Depot. Need to put the bird feeder on the tree and hope and pray that the squirrels don't eat all of it, but we'll see. I don't know. So anyway, all of that is happening this weekend. So it's not like I don't have anything to do. So I think that'll do it for Friday SEWS this week. So thanks for watching and have a great weekend. And I will see you next time. And don't forget, who loves you the most?